Singapore is a hotspot for digital assets. Maybe it's because of huge amounts of assets under management, of regulatory certainty, and there is support for incubators and they're experimenting. But what's the current situation? Today, I will meet the Asian crypto pioneers. Hey! Hi Kriti! Hi Jason! Hi Boon! Nice to meet you! Are you a digital native? Did you eat crypto for breakfast?
Not really, but I started in the digital asset world actually back in roughly 2016. A couple of friends, including myself, actually started by doing crypto mining. We bought a few second-handed machines, and that's how we got started.
So my first touch point was my husband actually coming and asking me to put a sizable amount in bitcoins because he thought it's really going to grow. Me coming from a traditional banking, risk management space, I actually thought it was a complete sham and it's risky, and I completely put my foot down saying this is not something we're going to put our money in and our savings in. However, the way it was growing, I started understanding it. I started working with players in the Bitcoin space, working with founders, and I realized there's much more value to it.
Hello. How did you get into the digital asset space, Boon?
It was through a very traditional and old-fashioned means. A tap on the shoulder with a question by my previous boss to say, what is blockchain? Can you please help me find out more?
That's how you entered.
That's how I entered. And amazingly, through the search, I was actually inspired by Deutsche Bank's experiment in the 1996 with DigiCash on eCash coins to allow consumers to buy things over the internet. And therefore, it led me to experiment with my own Boon coin, Boonie coin, Boo coin.
So you're an early adopter?
Relative, I think, relative. If I was really an early adopter, it would be, when Bitcoin price was, for one pizza.
Where do you see the demand of digital assets?
Hedge funds is the first wave we observed. And then, for example, Singapore, family offices allocating maybe a few percentage points, into digital assets. And then also from an asset manager's perspective, we are observing a wave of interest getting into the space in Singapore and also within the region. So that's what we're seeing.
Now you're an expert in digital assets. How do banks enable access?
So what we do is we work with regulators across the world. So if I had to take an example of Singapore, MAS has created a digital ecosystem where they're enabling players who have good risk management capabilities to come and grow this ecosystem. At Deutsche Bank, we have a very strong base and people who understand the space. So we actually adopt the same policies, and we are saying how we can enable these ecosystems and these players in this ecosystem get financial inclusion, create efficiencies in transfer or in payments, and enable this ecosystem to have a good financial backing.
Why is Singapore such an important hub for digital assets?
Singapore is an important hub because of 2 or 3 factors. Firstly, of course, regulations. Everybody knows about its conducive regulatory approach and outlook. It's got innovation grant as well that encourages traditional financial industry to actually experiment in this field. But very importantly, its ecosystem in the crypto space, in the digital asset space, in the traditional finance space is building out. So for example, regulators are looking into the use of automated market maker in CBDC. Singapore is home to a top decentralized exchange, and there are use cases that spans from decentralized identity to permission DeFi, digital asset management, brokerage, etc. So if I have to sum up, Singapore is a growing important portal into the intersection of traditional finance and digital assets.
What's your experience with digital assets? Which use cases do you see? Write it in the comments.